Goldpan Suntan are back. So had quite a few of you guys ask me, hey, so what camera do you use? A bunch of you guys know I use a GoPro. But I figured I'd break all this stuff out, show you a few things that I've done to it to make it work a little bit better, or just for my specific situation. So let me show you my little tripod and all a little bit of gear that I have in there, and you can make a determination if you think a GoPro would be good for you too as well. So let me turn this camera around. So here's my case. Here's my tripod. The tripod, guys, is just a cheapo tripod. I don't have anything too fancy. I mean, it even says Amazon Basics on it. So it's been pretty reliable. Hasn't really conked out on me or anything. It's been pretty good for being El Cheapo brand. That sucker's working real good. So you can see, here's the GoPro I use. I have this outer shell is called the Media Mod. I and a lot of people out there don't really like the Media Mod. It's kind of has a bad design. I'll get into that here in a little bit. This here is called a Volta, and a Volta is an extra battery. It's also like you can use it to press start, like a remote control. You can charge your batteries with it. I have not used it for start, stop, and record and all of that function. The only thing, it's supposed to take place of 4 of your regular GoPro batteries. I have 4 regular batteries. One's in the GoPro now, and then this is an extended life battery. It also becomes a tripod. It's very convenient. I really like it. These cost about $100 or so. It doesn't come with all of these attachments here. These are something else that I've done. I'll explain that here in a little bit. And I kind of modified this cord with some electrical tape. It had a very tight coil, and the way it would plug into the GoPro I didn't really like, so I wanted it to not have so many curls. That's the Volta I use. Really like it. Typically you charge your GoPro, you just plug in the GoPro and you charge each battery. Well, wanted to get a double charger. I use this quite often. I'll throw a couple batteries in there, get them charged. And guys, the batteries do take a while to charge. And this one battery doesn't last very long. They might last 30 minutes tops. And they work great in the winter, but in the summer they overheat, which heats up the GoPro and it conks out. So in the summer here in New Mexico, when it's 100, anything above 90 degrees, you can pretty much only record like about 5 minutes. And it'll cut off about 5 minutes. So, and then you got to cool the GoPro down. And that takes about 15-20 minutes for it to cool back down. So GoPros in the heat, I am not a fan. This is some headgear, and this headgear came in a very cheap kit. I bought an accessory kit from Amazon. I think it was 50 some pieces. It had headgears, it had chest gear, it's got stuff for your wrist, it's got all kinds of little parts and pieces in it. When I bought the GoPro, it only came with just the GoPro and 1 battery and a charging cord. So I wanted to do something where I could have this on my head. I really like this. I've been playing with it more and more and more. So this I really like. But sometimes it's hard to dictate where the camera is really looking when it's on your head. So that can be kind of challenging. On the accessories that I have in here, I always carry spare Ziploc bags. let's say I'm going to go to a claim, I'm going to go climb a mountain somewhere, and I want to take this with me, this and this with me. I'll take all this stuff, I'll put it in a big bag, throw it in my backpack, and I don't have to carry this big case. So, and then all my little parts and pieces I carry around in quart size Ziploc bags because they get messed up in here and you can't find the stuff when you're trying to look for it. So I kind of try to keep everything separate. I'll get into these. Here's a spare SD card. This one happens to be 256 gigabytes. This will record on a GoPro at 4K resolution for about 10 hours of footage. Well, that's a little too big of a card, but I always keep a spare with me just in case the one that I have in the camera screws up. This here is another birthday gift that I got. It is a max lens. It is a lot bigger than the regular lens that the GoPro comes with. I got this, I messed around with it for a little while. A couple of my videos I've used it. I can now tell the difference in when I'm watching videos, who's got a max lens and who doesn't. If you ever seen somebody's arm that stretches out forever, looks like he's Rubber Band Man, that's probably on a max lens. These are nice for what I've found is if I'm driving or if I'm biking or if I would be skiing, these really come in handy. But I have kind of retired it in a way. I still keep it in my kit just in case I want to whip it out at some time. But usually I don't use it a whole lot. This is an attachment that I use for putting this on a shovel or a pick or something round that I want to attach the GoPro to. I typically have pretty cheap stuff. I bought all this from that accessory pack from Amazon, but I've kind of given this some hell. It's starting to get kind of beat up down here on the bottom where I'm shoveling, and this hits the ground and the dirt. So, but it hasn't broken yet. We'll see how long it lasts, but that's an attachment for the shovel that I've been using. And there was a time when I tried to use this round attachment on my metal detector. Well, most shafts on a metal detector are round, but on the SDC 2300, the shaft is square. I went and used this on there and it didn't work. It kept wanting to move over. I couldn't get it to work right. So in that kit, they sent 2 of them. What I did was, and it may be kind of hard to see, I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this, but instead of it having the curve in here, I wanted it to be flat like this so that it would mount down onto the metal detector and it would be flat. So what I did was I took these pieces out. I put some duct tape across this side, over here too. Duct taped both sides. I got my hot glue gun out, filled this up with hot glue, and let it dry. Once it was cold and it solidified, pulled the tape off, and now I have a mount that I can put on something flat. This is primarily only probably gonna go on that SDC. I'll probably never use this for anything else. GoPro probably has an attachment like that. I haven't really necessarily went and looked. I'm kind of a modifier and a fabricator, and it didn't take me but maybe 10 minutes to make this. So this here is an extra lens for the GoPro. This isn't a max lens. This is just your regular lens that it comes with. This is an old one that I've already kind of scratched. It's got one little scratch on the lens. So I bought a new one from GoPro, and I put this one in my case just in case I break the one I have on. And this is a selfie stick. I have not even used it yet. I probably will at some point, but I've got it here in the bag. Spare parts that I carry around with me are going to be thumb screws, a bunch of other quick connect parts that I carry with me, other little type of mounts like this. I have 2 spare doors. These are battery doors for the GoPro. I don't need to carry 2. These are your quick connect mounting and demounting fittings. GoPro has these thumb screws, just like a lot of other cameras out there have. And the thumb screw design, I feel, is a good design. But when I go to a claim and I want to start off with my head, well, then I'm unscrewing the thumb screw, putting the camera on, then undoing it, and then I want to put it on the shovel, and I'm just doing this all day long. Well, it gets to be kind of a pain in the butt. You know, your hands are cold or whatever, and it just starts to become kind of a pain in the butt. I went ahead and bought these quick connect fittings. You can find them anywhere. You can buy these by the dozen and for cheap. But the mounting piece for these is not so, these are hard to come by. I mean, you gotta buy 4 of them. They're like $5 or $6 each. They're aluminum. And what happens is you just pretend the camera's on here. It slides in, bam, camera's attached. Come right out. So this setup here replaces the thumb screws. I really love the setup that I have now. However, if you want to move to this setup rather than the thumb screws, you have to buy one of these pieces for each mount. So I have one here. This one has one. This one has one. And the Volta, one up here. And of course, my tripod has one on top. So I just click it on, click it off. Works a lot better for me anyway. On the Volta, and the reason why I have 2 of them is that the camera can go here, but then at times, okay, I want to hook the Volta to my tripod. So I can just click this on here, it's on, put the camera on there. This is an extended battery, so I can charge batteries as I go. So that's why on my Volta I have 2 of them. Well, I have 2 different mounts. This is a base mount and this is your speed mount, right? So I can get away from the thumb screws. You still have to have the thumb screws holding that mount. I have just found it saves me a lot of time out there, and I'm not losing the thumb screw, because I've gone and lost some of these, can't find them. I'm up on top of the damn mountain. I gotta go walk to the truck to go get some spares. It can be a pain in the butt. I do use the GoPro software. As you can see the ticker going here. I do like that, how you can download the app, start a video, stop a video remotely. You can take pictures. So this is the remote control for the GoPro. Really do like it. As far as the GoPro software to edit videos, I have 0 good things to say about it. The GoPro software is, for videography, is just a huge waste of your time. I use CapCut on the desktop to create my videos. A lot of people use DaVinci. I've used Power Director in the past. Thinking that you're going to be able to use GoPro Quick for videography is a big mistake. So steer clear from there. But let me see about getting this camera phone hooked up in a way so that I can show you what I'm talking about with the media mod. We're gonna try it with this little stand. That looks pretty rinky dink, but We'll see if that works. So here's the GoPro, and one of the reasons why I went and got this was because the media mod was because it, with just the GoPro by itself, it has a microphone here, and in my earlier videos, I found that audio was very difficult, and I still have audio to this day. Audio is my biggest problem with the sound and the wind, or me playing my background music. Sometimes it might be too loud or you can't hardly hear me. I'll tell you, my whole struggle with videography has been that. So I have a GoPro 11 Black. I have found it to be pretty reliable. There are some things with it that piss me off. On the app, there is an enable preview button to where you can be able to have the camera on, and you should be able to see on your phone where the camera is pointing. Well, half the time that doesn't work, and it's a piece of electronics. It's electronics. It can be a little bit quirky as far as the menu, the capabilities of what this puppy can do. I could be learning this thing for the next couple years. It's a damn good camera. I've dropped it in water, and it's been very reliable. But the media mod, when you go with the media mod, if you choose to, is you have to take the door off. Once you take the door off, this stays open. Well, you slide this in here, okay, but now it's not waterproof. It's water resistant, I would say. I bet you I could drop this in water, and if I picked it up right away, we'd be okay. But this media mod, and the main reason I got it was for this microphone. GoPro proclaims that, hey, the media mod has a better microphone. It'll drown out wind, which it does. But this specific media mod from GoPro, you can only have the mic on the back or on the front. Both mics don't work at the same time. There's an on-screen menu. You can click, I want it to be on the front mic. I want it to be on the back mic. This is kind of a pain in the butt. Sometimes in my videos, guys, you'll hear me and I'll be walking with it and I sound good. And then I turn around to do selfie and I'm going to talk into the camera. The volume goes down. That's because I failed to switch over the mic position. So the media mod, with having to swap that over, that's kind of a pain in the butt. But the biggest pain with the media mod is that you cannot, to excess, say the battery dies, okay, and you want to take this out. Well, these little legs, let me show you. These little legs are attached to the camera, and they stick up through here. So when you want to remove this, what typically happens is you can't remove it because all of this is together. So this is a real pain in the butt. I can tell you, it's a real pain in the butt. So what I've done was, and of course I watched some YouTube videos on it. There's a couple different ways that you can do this, make this modification is. But if you can see, there's a line right here. So I cut this. I cut it with the little saw, and now I open the door and I pull out the GoPro. So I don't have to mess with this at all. This remaining piece that was left, I used some glue. I made up some epoxy, some 2-part epoxy. This did not come like this. It was not glued to it. Everything used to come off because it used to be all one part. Boy, I hope I'm explaining this good. But yeah, so I glued this to the GoPro, and now problem solved. If I need to get at the battery, I just pull it right off. That's the modification I made to this to make it just a lot faster. I'm out there trying to work, trying to get stuff done, and it's a complete pain in the ass to take off all this stuff. And just so you know, guys, if you do go with a media mod, all the little thumb screws that come with it are too short, okay? And you're over here trying to turn it like this because it's so short that it's a pain in the... I went and bought the longest thumb screws I could find. At least I can get my finger right here at the very tippy, at the very end of it to undo it if I need to. Rarely have to undo this one anymore. I don't really undo any of them anymore since I got the speed clips. Yeah, you're gonna have to try to find the long ones. So that'll work with this media mod because all the other ones just do not work worth a damn. This thing here, that's a charging port. So you can charge the battery that's inside. This is for hooking your computer to it, I think. And this is for an external. So there comes with a thing here for a mic jack for an external mic. I haven't gone with an external mic yet. I don't see a need for it. But that's the GoPro. That's all the equipment that I drag around with me. Most of it's been real good, but I'll let you guys go for now. I'll get to putting this stuff in the computer so I can start making a video. Have a great day. Goldpan Suntan is out.